back, boys and girls, to another episode of K-Fave Comparisons. My name is Mr. Know-It-All, Daniel John Schafer, and I am joined here once again by the rest of the K-Fave crew. Introducing first, he's the king of the K-Fave kickflip, Mr. Wex, breaking the Lawson. Wex, how we doing, bud?
Dude, doing pretty good, living pretty well. Looking forward to this week's episode, you know. Been a long day at work this week, every day. Just, trying to get back into the swing of things and get talking some wrestling again this week, you know?
Talking some wrestling indeed. And also with us, as always, formerly the patron saint of the Rock Block, now the wayward son of Wartrace, Mr. Jesse Baker. How you doing, bud?
Man, I'm living great. Just still kicking it out here in the country. I'm all caught up on TV and wrestling and all those things because that's just kind of how it is out here. A lot of fun, though. Super excited about the show this week. We've got a great top five. This will be the first time in 3 weeks that we're not just shitting all over everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm very excited about our Who Am I? And I'm very excited about our guest this week.
Me too, yes. The lovely Miss Jessica Rosenberg will be joining us for the top 5 women of wrestling. I figured it was only fair to have a woman's perspective on a women's topic, and I'm very excited about having that on the show later. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show, let's kick things off with the headlines, the haps. What's the bullshit going down these days? Wex, take it away.
So we're going to obviously start it off with the WWE like we normally do on this little segment here, but so, guys, obviously, if you guys have been watching, you've been keeping up with the whole White Rabbit thing. Do you guys think it's Bray Wyatt? Like, is it that obvious? Or do you think it's going to be somebody else?
I think it's somebody else.
I think at this point, if it's not Bray Wyatt, they've painted themselves into a real shitty corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it's somebody else. But I think that they probably started doing this White Rabbit thing and were just too dumb to realize people are going to think it's Bray Wyatt. And now they're so far into it that they're like, well, might as well just keep going with it. We know it's not Bray. Like, I really don't see it being Bray. Hopefully, I hope it is. I hope it's Bray. But I really don't think it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really have stake in the game there. I could see it being Bray now, only because obviously H has made the creative decision that they need more control in the hands of people, and that was the biggest problem, I think, with the Fiend stuff in the first place, is that Bray had some, not all, but a lot of that stuff just got painted over with that WWE veneer, and it kind of ruined it after a while, so I could see why he wouldn't want to come back, but yeah, I'm hoping that's what it is, because unless they pull some fucking super crazy something, it's going to be really disappointing otherwise.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing, too, is I can't think of anybody better to be in that position other than Bray, but so I feel like in the Triple H mind, he's got a pretty good idea, and it probably is somebody good. But now that everybody's expecting Bray, it's not going to live up to that. Even though I think it'll probably be like, oh, that's not bad. But it's not. We'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully it is Bray. But who knows?
It'd be funny if it's just like Edge again.
Or it's Christian.
Yeah, just something fucking ridiculous like that. But yeah, pretty crazy. But one other thing that's also pretty crazy, as you know, Sasha Banks hasn't been with WWE for a while, and pointed out officially on Twitter, WWE has been removed from her name, and it's just her real name now.
Yeah, I think that's more branding than anything else. But
I don't think she's coming back now. Do you think she's going to come back? Or do you think that's just a business move?
I mean, they're going to keep her in contract prison if she doesn't come back. And I think there's only a matter of time before she's itches to get back in the ring again. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Maybe she's just like, well, you know what? If you're going to do this, I just won't wrestle and pull a CM Punk and just wait for years. But it's going to be years and years. She either wrestles in WWE or people are like, oh, they'll give her a release. Like, we are not seeing her in AEW. Like, that's not going to happen. It's like they've got her tied up to 2028
I doubt that.
Or something like that?
I agree with you. She's going to do something outside of wrestling.
I honestly don't even know that she would, even if she got the release. I mean, maybe an appearance or something, but if you look at the landscape of things over there, it's fucking not good. So it seems like it would be a daft decision if she made that move.
Yeah, this is definitely the roughest patch as far as roster-wise and roster and office relations that AEW's had up to this point. So it's certainly not the promised land that it was a year ago.
Nope.
All right, so I guess if you want to go ahead and get in some AEW shit, I think Dynamite last night it felt very different, but it was still pretty fucking cool. and I feel like it was more heavily story based.
But
it worked though. It was like one of those episodes just to get the narrative flowing again, get some shit popping off, and I thought it was a great episode.
Yeah,
I was hooked in even before I was 2 to 3 shots deep. I was still getting it in there.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. Yeah, I think it's really good.
And dude, the whole Ring of Jericho thing is just absolutely fucking brilliant. I think it's great.
No, it's great. I love it. I mean, the dude is a branding machine. There's no way around it. He's the king. Like, I mean, it's like, I almost want to, it's like, I don't feel like it's fair to say like Chris Jericho is like a Ric Flair or a Shawn Michaels. Like, he's great. It's just like he's his own thing. Like, Chris Jericho is just Chris Jericho. Like, and I feel like at this point, it's like, even if remember when they first did the Jericho Appreciation Society and we shat all over it?
Oh,
we
yeah.
were like, oh, it's terrible. And it ended up being pretty damn good. Like, it ended up being pretty solid. So
same thing when the Inner Circle first started. I was like, yeah, this isn't that cool, and he made it fucking work.
I loved the Inner Circle. The Inner Circle was definitely up there for me. But yeah, man, it's rough. One thing that I want to say is it does look like Saraya, whatever it is, Paige is not going to be wrestling, and she's just going to be in a essentially GM of the women's role, and that sucks. I'm gonna go ahead and say that I'm already out on that.
That's pretty lame. I wish she would wrestle,
dude.
Maybe that's still on the cards, but as of right now, I think you're right.
And that just sucks.
Yeah,
it just sucks because she was so good. And listen, if she's hurt, then I get it. It's not her fault. I'm just saying that it sucks that we were led to believe the heads were gonna roll and she was gonna be in action. And she pretty much made it clear in that promo that she's not wrestling. So
maybe it still happens down the line somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, give me a Foley schedule. Give me 3 matches on 3 matches, 3 years, 1 match a year.
If her and Britt Baker can even have a match, that'll be good.
Just one. Yeah, just one.
I think that could work. And I gotta say, and I know it was pointed out already, but that whole in-ring segment with her last night was pretty weak.
It was very long.
It was just a bad spot because they didn't have half the fucking roster there because of the hurricane, and it just kind of
that's true.
It just made it look weak because they didn't have everybody. I think if in a different date, a different situation, that segment would have worked out better. But dude, that shit kind of blew up for him.
I just felt like her mic work was subpar too. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just something about it that just wasn't clicking for me. And I guess a lot of that pressure probably is coming in. You got to answer everybody's questions without answering anybody's questions,
Yeah,
right?
That promo was very vague. She's like, I'm here. I'm going to make change because I'm the revolution and it's my house now. That's pretty much all she said.
She just took Brandy's spot.
Hey, but at least she's more. God, Brandy was just fucking. Well, let's not even get into that. But let's get into how fucking good Bandito versus Chris Jericho was. That was such a good fucking match.
It's
and if
so
Tony
good.
Khan doesn't sign Bandito right the fuck now, he's dumb. He's fucking stupid.
Yeah, and he needs
power people, and Bandito is that dude. Whether it's for Ring of Honor, for Dynamite, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Bandito obviously is a flag bearer for Ring of Honor and has been for the last couple of years. He was, like they said 9,000 fucking times during commentary, he was never beaten for the title.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, I got to say, the commentary is a little asinine for some of it. I love Rick Abani, but the rest of it was just kind of like the other guys were playing catch-up the entire time. But, that storyline segment alone actually kind of had me believing that they might have just right then taken it off of Jericho.
No, dude, so many times, I was like, dude, Bandito's going to get it because he was so many very close pinfalls. Dude, it was a good match. It really had me hooked in. And normally I wouldn't be hooked in for a random title match on Dynamite that I know the dude's going to obviously lose, but they had me. They had me hooked in a little bit.
Yeah. It was just a really well worked match, man. I mean, it was just really, really well done. Again, Jericho continues to innovate and change and that's the thing too. The reason why he's so good now too is that I don't think any of us expect him to be, a 35-year-old Jericho again, so he has adapted so well without really slowing down. You know what I mean? It's like he's still maintaining the same pace as that 35-year-old Jericho, but he's not doing the same things. It's like his evolution. He's just so good, man. He's just so smart that it's like instead of making it like, oh, he's lost a step or he's changed, where a lot of wrestlers wouldn't know how to completely change their style, to where he's just literally shifted gears in style. And it's just, I mean, hats off to the man.
Kudos to Y2J.
You got to give it to Luigi Primo too, man. He sold that.
Yeah, and he kept spinning that dough through the entire promo until he got knocked out. He did not fucking quit.
It was amazing. It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. I loved it. Love to see it. What else we got on the docket? Is that about it?
I mean, that's pretty much it. Only other thing is that Tony Khan, maybe if Juice Robinson is truly a free agent, how hard they touted it to get him in AEW also. That'd be a great pickup.
So I love Juice. I absolutely love him. But I got to say, when I watched that match, I was really underwhelmed.
Yeah, of course. That match wasn't that great, but we know what he can do. So it's not.
That's true.
You ain't got to worry about that. You ain't got to worry about that.
But I also, there's certain guys that just only work, like, kind of need a smaller venue to make it work. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not a slight. It's just like that's how it works. I mean, I don't know. It's like you can't put like what's that Simpsons metal band?
Talking about? Fuck. I'm gonna forget it now.
I mean, but you know what I'm saying? Like
Oakley Dokley.
Yeah, Oakley Dokley. You can't put Oakley Dokley in an arena. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work. I mean, Gwar, like their show is so like literally physical that like it has to be in like a dirty punk rock venue. Like that's kind of what makes it Gwar. It's the same thing with certain wrestlers. It's not a slight against them. It's just that they can't wrestle on that size, and I'm worried that Juice is one of those guys. He looks great in a studio, looks good in like, moderate crowds, but like big arena, I have yet to see it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he kills it because I love his mic skills. I love his character. I think he's great. I just not sure if he can pull it off bell to bell on that large of a scale.
I feel like Bullet Club Juice is like some Sons of Anarchy light shit, though. Like I kind of wish he got to go back to what he was doing before that. Like
I agree. Yeah. Him and Finley were great. I think that would have been a great tag team to bring to AEW at the time too. I mean, FTR with those guys would have been great. Argyle doesn't lose, man.
Argyle doesn't lose.
I think that's pretty much it for the news. So let's go ahead and transition over to that meat and tater side.
Awesome. So today we are doing the top 5 women of wrestling. Now, wrestlers, not necessarily wrestlers, but just women of wrestling in general. Our top 5s, and we have a very special guest. Miss Jessica Rosenberg is going to be here with us to talk about the top 5 women of wrestling. Jessica, how you doing?
Hello, Marks.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Hello.
I'm good. I'm so stoked for this.
Yeah, I'm excited too. So give us a little bit of background. How long have you been watching wrestling? Like, where did wrestling come into the world of Jessica?
So my brother's about 10 years older than me. And, we were having, matches on our parents' bed where he was TikToking me and throwing me off. And since I could walk, I was the type of kid that went to a girl's sleepover and left early because I didn't want to miss SummerSlam.
Oh, love it.
So, I mean, I just grew up on it. The thing that really nailed me in when I was a kid was the whole Miss Elizabeth, Macho Man, Hogan, the wedding. I mean, that's what, fuck Days of Our Lives. I have pro wrestling, what I mean?
Yeah. I love it. That's awesome. Well, I am super excited to get into it. We're going to go in a round here. We're going to start with number 5. My number 5 is 1/3 of Team Extreme. It's Miss Lita. I think she was kind of the first one to not be I think she was one of the first ones to be taken more seriously. I won't say that she was like one of the first great wrestlers, because that's just not true. There were plenty of women's wrestlers that were really good at actual wrestling in the 90s prior to her and after her. But I do think that her character was one of the first coming out of that, or even actually during that diva phase, that was taken a little more seriously. Like her matches were just more, there were a lot less hair pulling and spank spots. You know what I mean? Not to say that there weren't any in her matches, because unfortunately there were in some, but she just seemed more to be taken more seriously. And yeah, number 5 for me is Lita. Obviously, it's a certain part of my childhood. Hardys, everything that they stood for at that time too, them as a unit, definitely added a lot of credibility to her. So yeah, number 5 for me is Lita. Wex, where are you at?
All right, coming in at number 5 for me is more of a modern wrestler, and that's Candace Larae. Ever since the first match I ever saw her in, which was actually guerrilla warfare match against the Young Bucks with don't want to mention his name, but she is one tough son of a bitch, and ever since then I became a fan. Like, she went one-on-one with the dudes and went toe-to-toe with them, and even though, I guess her WWE run hasn't been the best, but everything since then, and now she's back on the main roster, maybe she can get some good shit going, but I've been a big fan of hers ever since then. And like I said, this list is my personal favorites of people I watch. Like, I know we got people who are been good in different decades here, this and that, but I'm going to go in on people that me personally have watched. And if you haven't watched that match, look it up on YouTube. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla Warfare match, the Young Bucks versus the world's cutest tag team. And she goes off. She goes the fuck off. Like, I recommend anybody to go watch that. One of the just best tag team matches ever, in my opinion.
I will have to go check it out. Jessica, hit us with your very first one, your number 5.
Okay, so y'all can hate me if you want to, but it really came down to a 3-way tie for 5. Okay. And there's a reason, because most of them were valets and didn't wrestle as much, but all 3 of them were so integral to the basically the storyline between 5 and 6 WrestleMania. So my top 5 is Sweet Sapphire, Sensational Sherry, who was Queen Sherry at the time of the feud, and Miss Elizabeth.
Nice.
Dig it.
That's solid. That's definitely legendary valets. Probably, I would argue that's probably the very first time ever in WWF history that they had that much focus on women.
It really was. Just little things about them, so the first woman in Mississippi to get a wrestling ref license was actually Sweet Sapphire. So, there's so much history in there as well. Wow. And so even if they weren't technical wrestlers, the actual love that Sapphire had for wrestling, she legitimately quit because they tried to break her and Dusty up. She didn't want to leave Dusty because how much she loved him and how much a fan she was of working with him. So without these women, we wouldn't have those legendary statuses of some of those wrestlers today, I think.
For sure. I totally agree. I don't think Macho Man is presented the same way at all without Miss Elizabeth, especially in the beginning.
Sherry's wrestled enough in her own right. She's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and I would argue too that
she managed so many great people throughout the years.
Shawn Michaels needed her coming off the rockers.
Dude,
he did not have the personality 100. Until she came along. She was and he is the greatest of all time.
If it wasn't for her, Booker T might have lost it after that drop in his promos. She held it.
Shoo. All right, Jesse, who you got at number 5, man?
I'm going to go slightly a little bit more obscure, although her career was 10 years long, but entirely in Japan, and that is Megumi Kudo.
Okay.
She was considered to be the beauty queen of the death match. She was in, if not the first, one of the first intergender Japanese tag team matches ever. Most of her career was focused on hardcore wrestling and deathmatch wrestling. She debuted basically by getting accepted into the AMW dojo, and she got accepted the same day as Aja Kong and Combat Toyota and a whole bunch of other people that would go on to be very legendary in that whole thing. And her retirement match in FMW is one of the most brutal, insane situations you'll ever see. It's barbed wire ropes on 2 sides of the ring, no ropes on the other 2 sides, explosions everywhere. It's called a double hell match. It lives up to the name. It's one of the most brutal fucking things I've ever seen. You can definitely find it on YouTube or on the Tokyo Pop FMW DVD collections, which is what I have. But Megumi Kudo goes into my top 5 for sure, just because it's so different and influential.
I've never seen any of her work, so I will definitely go Google that and hope.
Me either. Sounds really fucking good, though.
It does sound awesome.
No argument for me. Love her.
Love it. That's awesome. All right, so let's get into number 4s here. My number 4 is probably going to get some groans. But I would say at one point she was arguably the biggest star in all of wrestling when the wrestling was its absolute hottest. And I'm going with Sable at number 4. I think that she is trash in the ring. There's no argument about that. I'm not going to argue with you. And she, like, to me, she has so much charisma and just her actual, like, she's obviously a beautiful woman, well, specifically for that time. But, like, she has, she's a terrible promo. Like, she's terrible on the mic. She cannot wrestle. But she was legit Stone Cold level, like, over. Like, she was so over just from her charisma. Like, it was like the facial expressions, those kind of things, like that alone. And not only that, but you have this massive run. You leave for, like, what, 6 years, 7 years, sue the company. It's brutal. It's this big, like, breakup. Then you come back and arguably have a better run. Like, she was a much better promo when she came back. I mean, people kind of forget about that run that she had in, like, 05 or something with Tori Wilson. But it was, like, she was good. Like, she was a dastardly kind of, like, heelish Sable, too. It was really cool. Like, I thought she was great as a heel. No one really talks about her return run. So, yeah, number 4 to me, I mean, the impact on the business, it's unarguable. Sable, number 4. Wex, take it away.
Coming in at number 4 for me is a former WWE Women's Champion, former NWA Women's Champion. One of my favorite people I used to love I can't even talk right now. I used to love to watch her beat the shit out of Trish Stratus, and that's Jazz.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like one of the people, like, I don't know, one of the only people still at that time who was still like an actual wrestler and not doing the diva thing, pre-diva thing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was a great wrestler, wrestled for like many different promotions. And like I said, those early Trish Stratus matches when Trish really was very green in the ring, she carried those matches. And like, those were some great times. And even though I know she's married to goddamn one of the saddest modern wrestlers who's still up there at NWA, Rodney Mack, man, I still give her a lot of props. She's one of the best of all time. And I know she's retired now, and she should probably give some advice to her husband.
Yikes. Yeah, no, I agree fully. Yeah, that Tyrus match, my God.
Oh, my, one of the worst of all time.
One of the worst of all time. Yeah, I have no problem saying that. One of the worst of all time. Miss Jessica, number 4, where you at?
Number 4 for me is the first female Australian champ in WWE history, Rhea Ripley.
I like that.
I get behind that.
Okay.
She's the only woman to hold all 4 of the titles. So, like the NXT UK, WWE Tag Team, NXT Women's, and the Raw Women's Champion. She's amazing.
Oh, wow.
She folds people in half. I want her to fold me in half. I love her.
I would agree, actually. I mean, I think that she's beautiful as well. Yeah, but she's awesome. Incredibly athletic. Yeah, man, that's an awesome choice. That is an awesome choice.
My number 4 probably won't surprise any fucking body. Ultra modern wrestler, and I'm sure everybody thought it might be higher on the list. But
Jordan should be higher for you, but yeah.
Good old Jordan Grace. I just the first time that I remember seeing anything that wasn't just an indie match that I was like, oh, that person's kind of cool. But the Battle Royal at All In and her getting paired up with dudes like Brian Cage and stuff like that, and just immediately kind of took me as like a, what the fuck is going on here? Because normally, even in intergender matchups and stuff like that, it never really went that way. And I just kind of paid attention to her career ever since. I think that for what Impact is, they have used her phenomenally well. I do wish that we would get to see her on a slightly more public platform, just because I think that I think it's there. I think that she does have the combination of things that it takes to do that on WWE or AEW or wherever. I do think she could fit in AEW, even though the women's division is languishing, just because she is such a different persona and such a different presentation. Obviously, fitness guru, all that fun stuff, well, powerhouse. And to me, great in ring. I think her psychology's there too. So I'm going to go Jordan Grace.
Honestly, I'm surprised she didn't medal. I'm surprised that she isn't in.
Yeah.
I thought for sure. I literally thought she was going to be your number 1 overall.
Yeah, me too. I'm 100%.
Yeah,
That's why I was like very low on your list.
Yeah, it's pretty low considering the massive amounts of love
it's
that
number
Jesse
4
Baker has shown
out
Jordan
of
Grace.
everyone, though.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
You know,
No, I agree. I mean, that's. I mean, yeah. If you're making these lists, like, you did not have a small impact on the business. This is going to be my most controversial take right here. You're gonna love it. You're gonna hate it. but she is inarguably the face of the women's revolution, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, and it's Charlotte Flair. She's number 3 for me. You can hate it all you want. She's a great wrestler. There's no debating it. She's a fantastic promo. I mean, she's elevated pretty much every single person she's ever worked with. I mean, you can literally look at that's the one thing that you can say about her is that like every massive program she has, there hasn't been one that like, well, that person got buried, she just fell off. Like not one single time. That's never happened.
I beg to differ when she won the NXT championship at WrestleMania for no fucking reason. But besides that, yeah.
Yeah, but but I'm saying no one got buried off that. Like that was a bad booking choice, sure. But no one got buried off that.
I don't know, got buried, but it definitely derailed some careers for a little bit.
I disagree with that fully. I don't think it did. I mean, I think it literally boosted everybody in that match. But that's neither here nor there. Okay. You can agree to disagree. My bronze medal, Charlotte Flair, legend in the making, no doubt about it. First ballot Hall of Famer. Wex, where are you at with your bronze medal, your number 3 position?
Coming in at number 3 for me, sort of similar to Jesse's number 4. And I would say she's probably one of the best modern technical wrestlers of our day, and that's Deonna Purrazzo.
Ooh.
She's fantastic. The only thing, her promo, she always sounds like she's on the verge of crying for no reason. I don't know why. But besides that, she is just a fantastic wrestler in ring, one of the best. I've had the privilege to see her live many, many times for free because of Jesse over there. And she's fantastic. Like, I can't say enough great things about her. I know things didn't work out for her in WWE, but ever since she's been to Impact, she's really took the ball and ran with it. And I would like to see maybe eventually her in AEW. She'd be a great boost to that women's division that is kind of in a little lull right now on the downside, but maybe some Saraya and some Deonna Purrazzo and somebody else can boost it back up. But I think number 3 for me is Deonna Purrazzo. She's fantastic.
Yep. I think a heel Deonna Purrazzo versus a babyface Britt Baker would be amazing, which I think eventually will happen. But we will see. Miss Jessica, you're finally getting into your top 3, your bronze medal, your 3rd position here. Who will it be?
So number 3, I actually got yelled at on Twitter once for saying how amazing they were. It is the EST Bianca Belair.
Ooh, okay.
I'm all for that.
So the reason I say this is how much history revolves around Black people in wrestling, right? So for this specific woman, she is the second Black superstar to win the Royal Rumble. Do you know who the first was?
The Rock?
The Rock.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she's the only person of color, the only Black woman to ever win a Royal Rumble match. She was, her and Sasha made history because they were the first Black women to main event at WrestleMania. She's the only person to win a 4-on-1 handicap to win the 5-on-5 elimination. She's amazing. She could keep her hair how she wants to, and old Dusty Busty the King can fuck off.
Yeah. She's from
amazing.
Tennessee, right?
I love her. She's from Knoxville.
There we go.
I think she's actually from Brentwood and then just went to UT.
Oh,
Possibly. She's from Tennessee. She's a Tennessee girl. That's all that matters.
That's true. It's very true. I mean, yeah, I think she's great. I still think that, I think she's great. I couldn't put her on my top 5 of all time. I understand all those, all that, but
personal choices here.
Totally. Yeah, I love that choice. It's just, I want more. I want to see more. I do. I love what I'm seeing. I want to see more.
She's still going. I think she will get there.
For sure.
I just have all full faith in her.
For sure. She definitely is on the right path for legendary status. No doubt about it. Jesse, where are you at?
Bronze medal. Again, we're going with a little bit of strength here, and somebody who impressed me directly out of the gate. Cut a hell of a career in WWE, Hall of Famer with very good reason, and that's Miss Beth Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
I feel like her style, especially at the time that it occurred, helped in a transformative phase of the WWE Women's Division in a big way. I think those matches were inherently better than a lot of what had been going on. It was just yet another elevation of the stage of them actually focusing on women's wrestling and not just bra and panties matches and stuff. And there was something about her presentation that I just always took seriously, even when she was in hokey shit. Even stuff like her and Santino was, to me, still some top-notch fucking TV entertainment for shows like Raw. Yeah. I mean, I just thought it was fantastic. Her promo is actually not bad.
No.
And
I agree.
I know a lot of people don't look at her for those, but it's really good, actually.
Yeah.
And her in-ring, I don't think anybody can argue with. And she just cut this different cloth, I think, for the perception of the type of people that were a part of the company at that time.
Yeah, that's a really good choice. We're getting into like very, very great level like air. When you're talking about the number 2, number 1 spots of all time. So number 2 for me, I mean, she's the only woman to ever win like an actual singles title in the WWF. I mean, it's got to be Chyna to me. Regardless of how things ended, the actual career and what she did in the wrestling business is not even. It will never be done again because there can only be one first. I mean, like she's just what she did was unprecedented. I don't think we're ever really going to see it again. I mean, and it's not really like anybody's fault. Like I think like a Rhea Ripley could definitely cross over and like start wrestling dudes. I think that will happen sooner than later in the WWE and in AEW and all that. I think it's well on its way. But I don't think that like we don't have the same prestige for the mid-card titles as we used to either. Like we don't have, you know what I mean? Like the Intercontinental title meant so much when she won it. Like it was everybody that had it went on to be world champions or Hall of Famers even. And it's like, now it's like they're trying to bring it back now that, good old Papa Paul is in there. He's trying to bring things back to the way it should be, but it's going to take him a while. So hopefully we get some. First of all, there's too damn many mid-card titles. They need to meld that down. That's neither here nor there. Chyna's amazing, regardless of what comes up on Google these days, but she's amazing. She deserves all of her flowers. I hope she goes in the Hall of Fame as a single. I think she will. But yeah, Chyna number 2 overall, most influential women of wrestling for me. Wex, where you at?
I'm also Chyna. Chyna's also my number 2.
Yeah, I love it. That's great.
And Chyna was always one of my favorites growing up. I had Chyna action figures. Chyna was in DX. She was super cool. And even her post-wrestling, stuff is a little weird, whatever. But she went to New Japan and wrestled and, like, beat dudes. Like,
yeah.
Beat Masahiro Chono. Like,
yeah.
Fucking, not a lot of, like, that's fucking insane.
Yeah.
And I did have both copies of the Playboy. I'll admit it. Got them for free from a friend. But yeah, Chyna, she just like you said, she even transcended in wrestling. She was just this fucking just larger than life superstar.
Pop icon. Yeah.
Even when she was doing even in her like late WWE run where she would come out with like the fucking bazooka and shoot the things, like that was still cool. Like Chyna has always just been super awesome, and like I can't, even though like whatever, she did what she did, but do what you want to do.
For sure, man. For sure. It's like I feel like she gets way too much like heat for her life ending the way it did, but it's like, look how many countless male wrestlers ended their life pretty
exactly.
Like,
and then like
they don't get judged nearly as harshly.
Got screwed over by the WWF, and that sent her literally into a down spiral.
Yeah.
I mean, your boyfriend cheats on you with the boss's daughter, like you're doomed.
It's rough. Jessica, you're number 2, your silver medal here.
So for silver, I wanted to pick somebody that I didn't think you guys would pick. I knew Chyna was going to be on there, so it hurt my heart not to include her. But my silver is between 2 promotions. A 10-time winning champion is Mickie James.
Ooh, good call.
So 5-time women's champ, Divas title. They said that she was one of 5 to hold both the women's champ and the Divas title, which is pretty cool. TNA, Impact Now, like Ring of Honor, she's been on every single promotion. I don't think there's really been much of a place where she didn't just excite the audience and perform.
Yeah.
She was the first member of The Gathering that was ran by Raven. So there's a little ECW history in there too. I just think she's great. She's on her like retirement tour basically, like until she loses, and that's when she's done. Her outfits are fabulous, and I just love her.
Yeah, it's great. That's a great choice, man. Got to see Mickie James in person several times. It was always impressive. She was never bad, ever. So, yeah, good call. Jesse, where you at? Silver medal.
Silver medal goes to the belt drop heard round the world, one and only Medusa Michelli, a.k.a. Alundra Blaze. I don't think it's arguable to say that when WWF wanted to get back in the business of women's wrestling after the Moolah, Wendy Richter days, that Medusa, Alundra at the time there was the absolute focus of that. And they got to bring in some heavy hitters. Like I was always a big fan of Bull Nakano. I love Leilani Kai. I think there are a lot of talent that they got to bring in because Medusa was there and they actually finally had somebody that could work with them. And they needed people she could work with because she was just so far above a lot of the other people that they were
Underrated seller.
Oh my gosh, yes. And like Bertha Faye, as much as it was sort of a joke, like was still, those were some really good matches. If you go back and watch them psychologically speaking, they were tremendous. And that was somebody that everybody was a fan of bringing in too, by the way. But obviously the WCW move, a lot of people look at it as trashy, no pun intended, but you know, only certain people could have that kind of an impact by doing something like that. And she was kind of in a league of her own at that point in time. And WWF was not focusing on women's wrestling at all. WCW was attempting to. And they brought in my opinion, some better talent. I mean, Akira Hokuto's of the world that actually got TV time on national television. I thought that was trailblazing. They could have gone a lot further with it than they did. But even later into her career, a lot of the stuff that she did, like if you could have a passable match with Disco Inferno, then
yeah, no kidding.
Medusa, silver medal, top 5 women in wrestling.
Yeah, for sure, man. Definitely broke the mold. Some of the, I mean, honestly, especially those Bull Nakano matches, I feel like, you know, we just weren't ready for it. Fans just weren't ready. Yeah. We just weren't ready for it societally because they were good matches. I mean, you can't compare them to what the ladies are doing today. But it was revolutionary at the time.
It's where a lot of that started, you know.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. That's a great pick, man. That's a great pick. Well, here we are, number ones. I'm very excited. These lists have been very diverse. Last week we kind of had we were kind of all singing the same song a little bit, but this has been great. My number one overall is we're going on 25 years now. And I mean, I know her last name is McMahon, but dude, you can't deny the character, the absolute stand. Like, imagine being Vince McMahon's kid, dude. How many second generation wrestlers can't get out of the shadow of Shawn Stasiak, let alone Vince McMahon? And she did it. Not only did she do it, but like, she is just as like people that don't know wrestling know Vince McMahon. They know Stephanie McMahon too. You know what I mean? Like they know her. Like it's not even if you don't watch wrestling, she's just part of the lexicon, man. And like to get to that level, yeah, sure, you know, she's a daughter, she's going to be in a position of power, but she has never one time dropped the ball. Not once, not ever. I mean, and that's the thing too. When she gets in the ring, she's really good. She's a really good wrestler. It's kind of insane actually. Like she hadn't wrestled for like, I don't know, 8 years, 9 years, something like that. And then she came back and wrestled Brie Bella, and it was a good match. What? Like, how? It was so good, man. Hats off to her. I mean, the amount of contribution. I don't think any woman in wrestling at all has contributed more to the pro wrestling business than Stephanie McMahon. Has to be number one for me. Yeah, man. Number one overall, Stephanie McMahon Helmsley. Mama Steph now that we got Papa Paul. So, yeah. Wex, number one overall. Where you at, baby?
All right, so coming in at number one for me, I'll go ahead and admit it. I did not know her until she came to the WWE, but ever since then, I have been a fucking huge fan, and that's Asuka. Or Kana, whatever you want to call her. And she's the first women wrestler, like, I can remember buying a T-shirt of and, like, making sure to go out and get the action figure. And that NXT undefeated streak was so fucking amazing. And then one of your fucking picks had to ruin it, Daniel. But just they like it was fucking stupid how they ended that, honestly. But just her work, and the thing is, not only her work in WWE is amazing, and she just fucking whoops ass. Like she's had matches against like Minoru Suzuki and like fucking Tomohiro Ishii, and went fucking toe to toe with those dudes and really laid it in. And man, like she's one of those wrestlers, like even till this day when she's on WWE, which, you know, she's been out for a little while and she's on there, here, there. Like I always love to see Asuka. She's fantastic. Hopefully, you know, she does one final like run in Japan or something before she fully retires. She is my number one favorite women's wrestler of all time.
Nice. Solid. I like it. I don't actually. You know, I don't really like Asuka. I hate that. But you know what? For me personally, that's great.
I fucking love Asuka.
I know you do.
How can you hate her?
I don't hate her. I just think that she's overrated. I think she's a good wrestler. I just don't think she's that great. and I can't get into that character. That's just not for me. I understand that a lot of other people like it. That's fine. I don't.
But yeah, you love the nepotism baby Charlotte Flair.
Yeah. Yeah. Much better
sense.
promo, much better character, much better storylines.
Shit, on my foreskin.
I love it. All right, Jessica, number 1 overall. I'm very interested to hear what you have to say.
It was really, really hard to choose who my number 1 is because I had a list of like close to 50. But I'm going the nostalgia route. I'm going personal favorite because they were such an integral time in that whole span that they were active. So my number 1 has already been said, but it's Miss Congeniality herself, 214 Hall of Famer Lita. Like she had me with the whale tail. Like,
oh yeah,
like
whale tail.
High flying TLC match. One of the only women in the WWE like universe to be in a TLC match at the time. Just high flying, like it was just amazing. And plus the storyline between the Edge, everybody knows that crazy promo where they're in the bed, and Ric Flair comes out, and it's like, oh, we're gonna see some Lita titties, and no, she's got a shirt on. It's like that's the part of like wrestling that you're like, oh, this is kind of naughty. I kind of like this. And I'm like, oh shit, no, I'm an asshole. She's amazing. She's the greatest ever. Go Lita, I love her.
That's awesome. Definitely don't hate it.
She started the trend of wearing the thong like out above your pants.
Yeah, that's a whale tail, my dude.
The whale tail. That's it. The whale tail.
The whale tail. It's nice. It's good stuff. It was solid. Iconic look. Jesse, you're number 1 overall, baby. Take us home.
This was pretty difficult, and we did touch on her earlier. She was part of one of the lists earlier. I got to go with the queen, the sensational, our sister, Sherry Martell.
Nice.
100%. Not only because of a fantastic wrestling career that unfortunately had gaping like absences, firstly due to Plowboy Frazier breaking her leg in a battle royal, and she was out for some people say 6 months, some people say 2 years. It was a long fucking time. And that was like as she was coming up through the territories. And she was in a 21-person battle royal at that time in the South. I'm just going to throw that out there. So she's already being integrated with the boys. She had everybody's respect. She had everybody's trust. And I think without that gap, we probably would have seen a lot more of her in-ring. But in-ring, she was still very formative in early Vince McMahon era WWF as well. And it's just one of those things that I think that the in-ring thing could have shined a little bit brighter. But no one can argue with the valet presence of Sherry Martell in any instance. I mean, it doesn't matter what version you're looking at. To be able to leave WWF after a run with so many icons, I mean, Macho Man Randy Savage, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, Shawn fucking Michaels, to leave and then go manage Harlem Heat to 10 different tag team championships and like through a bunch of different turns and twists and storylines and things too. To me, there's no arguing her influence on the business. And for somebody to have been able to make it in that era of the politics and the bullshit backstage and the good old boy days of wrestling, I think speaks a lot to her strength of character and just her being a badass. So I'm going Miss Sherry Martell.
Hell yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a great pick, man. I mean, again, you're totally right. There's Hall of Famers that are legends that wouldn't be legends without Sherry and her involvement for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, again, I can't say. I mean, everybody knows how much of a massive HBK mark I am, and I honestly believe that without Sherry Martell managing him right after the barbershop incident, he doesn't get over as the Heartbreak Kid. It doesn't happen without Sherry Martell. It just doesn't happen. I mean, even down to the music. She was the original singer on the song, you know?
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't – I mean, the song that he still uses today, like 35 years later or whatever it is, you know? Like, it's just
let's not forget the Vince McMahon version.
Yep.
Now.
That's what I was going to say. Vince did sing it too. That's great.
That's so good.
And Sherry Martell also wrestled my pick last week in our Guess Who Am I? Candy Divine back in the AWA when you guys didn't know who she was.
Yeah, I didn't know who Candy Divine was. That's my bad.
Nope.
Sorry.
AWA championship matches with Sherry Martell. Like that OG right there.
Big OG. Man, this has been great. It's been great doing this list. The past couple weeks we've just been kind of poo-pooing on things. So I've been enjoying that as well. And we're going to get back to that at some point for sure. But before we wrap this episode up, we're going to do some games, man. We're going to start with Who Am I? And it's the ECW Championship edition, right? So I am super excited about this. Jessica, if you don't know, the way it works is I give you 3 facts, and then you get 3 yes or no questions, and then you get 3 guesses to guess who I am, essentially. All right? So I'm going to kick things off here. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
All right, Here we go.
Yep.
I was the PWI number 22 in the top 500 in 2003. I am a 2-time ECW champion. And I am a 27-time WWF Hardcore champion. Who am I?
Sorry, could you repeat the very last part?
I'm a 27-time WWF Hardcore champion.
Do I work backstage for any major promotion these days?
No.
Okay.
Do I run or do I very frequently guest on a radio show that's super popular?
Nah, because he also works backstage.
No.
Oh, I get a question now, don't I?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Do I still wrestle today?
No.
Okay. Were both my title reigns with the original ECW?
Yes.
Okay.
Great questions, guys. Great questions. You're doing a fantastic job.
Was I formerly in the WWF under a different gimmick?
Yes.
Ooh.
Am I PJ Polacco?
No.
Damn.
He was only a 1-time.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but. Was I in WCW?
Yes.
Okay, I think I know it. I'll let you guys ask your questions though.
Did I have the longest single reign?
I don't think so. I'm not positive about that, but I don't think so.
Man, this is getting tough. Was I ever a tag team champion in ECW?
In ECW?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Did I ever partner with Mick Foley?
I'm not 100% sure about that. You definitely didn't win the tag titles with Mick Foley.
Okay.
Fuck, I thought I knew who it was and I realized it's wrong. Now I don't know.
This is getting really tough.
I think I asked all my questions.
Did I wrestle for TNA?
Yes.
Okay. I think I know who it is now.
Go for it, Wex.
Can I go ahead and take the guess?
Take your guess.
Sure, go ahead. I can't think of a question.
Raven.
Yes, it's Raven.
Oh,
Well done.
fudge.
My last lifeline was
27 hardcore titles. I was like, dude.
That's what was throwing me for the loop.
2 people.
I mean, you got to remember those days in like 98, 99 where they would just like do it on Raw, where they would just flip, flop.
Yeah, like I remember that. He would win the title like 3 times in a match, and then he would start off and then lose it 3 to 4 times and win it again.
That was his gimmick. Yeah.
And he would bring the shopping cart full of all the shit.
Yeah,
that would be definitely confusing if they flip-flop so much. It's like, wait, how many times did he actually have it?
Yeah, my lifeline was going to be I was on the cover of a massively influential video game, and I feel like at that point I would have figured it out. But that's it, man. That was a good one. That was great questions too, guys. Really well done. Really well done. All right, Wax Man, since you got it right, give us your who am I?
Okay, I'll start off. I am a 2-time ECW champion.
Okay.
You have to give your other 2 facts.
Oh, I was giving you time to marinate on that one.
Dang.
But I have wrestled for almost every major American promotion except for WCW.
Okay.
And during my combined 12-year run in WWE, I only ever had 1 T-shirt design.
2-time ECW champion.
2-time ECW champion, yes.
12-year WWE career.
Combined, yes.
And what was the other fact? Sorry.
The other fact, he never, ever wrestled for WCW, but basically every other promotion ever.
Okay. I'm going to ask your same question here. Were both of my title reigns in the original ECW?
No. One was the original, one was the WWECW.
Okay.
Did I run my own promotion after ECW shut down?
Yes.
Can I take a guess?
Sure.
Am I Tommy Dreamer?
Yes.
Wow, well done.
You got that pretty quickly. I try not to make them too obvious with the guesses there, the choices, but
I got to say, the non-WCW is really what got me.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's really not anybody else.
I thought the T-shirt thing would get you because remember he always just wore like a Raw T-shirt or a. Because he had that one T-shirt when he first came through that had the Tommy Dreamer face on the front.
Yeah.
And then he never had another shirt ever after that.
No, he had one at the end too when he turned the the hardcore title. He literally had like a picture of it was like the hardcore title with the New York license plate.
I forgot that was
he
a
had
great
that shirt.
But he always wore like, just like Armageddon, whatever pay-per-view it was. That's what shirt he wore.
To be fair, he did that shit in ECW too.
Yeah, that's true.
No,
that was
that's great though. He didn't need a T-shirt. He was a company.
He looked like he worked at a chain restaurant. You know what I mean? Like you wear like the jeans and like the logo.
No, there was that
T-shirt.
one ECW pay-per-view. He looked like he worked at I know exactly what you're talking
about. That's exactly what. That's what he looked like. Always black pants. It's like he straight up looks like a bar back. Like he's gonna turn up with like a bus bucket and like start wiping down tables.
People. Oh wait, that happened.
Too good.
He's a man of the people.
That's great.
Except defending Ric Flair for no reason.
All right, Jessica. I know you've been preparing for this. Who am I?
Okay. I feel like this one's going to be so easy, but I tried to make the questions rather obscure, but I know you guys are like big nerds like me. So let's see. They were in Big Ass Extreme Bash on my birthday, March 8th of 1996. They had a very short stint in WCW and is currently helping a promotion but is semi-retired.
Was I in the WWE after I left ECW? I should probably rephrase that. Was I in the WWE?
Yeah. No.
So not in the WWE?
Or F, like that company ever?
No.
Oh.
Do I have family in the business?
No.
Okay.
Did I ever wrestle for Ring of Honor?
No.
Am I a multiple
have an
time ECW
episode
champion?
Of Dark Side of the Ring about me?
Oh, I'm behind on that. I don't know for sure.
Oh.
Let me find out for you, because you would ask a question I didn't have an answer to.
Sorry.
Anybody got another question while I'm looking for that?
Was I multiple ECW champion?
I think so. Let me see. I know so they appeared in one, but did not have one about them.
Oh, okay. That helps.
Do you guys want a lifeline?
Am I Steve Corino?
No.
Well, that's 2 questions so far. I still got another question.
Yeah, I think I got one. I can't remember. Oh yeah, were they a part of a group in ECW?
Not in. Wait, which one did you say?
In ECW?
No.
Huh. No.
Am I Masanta Tanaka?
No, wait. I take that back. ECW definitely wasn't a group. I'm so sorry. I was thinking the other one, even though I asked you twice.
Oh my god.
I'm giving up on this one. I don't know.
Yeah, give me a lifeline.
What's the
Okay.
lifeline?
Triple Crown ECW. The youngest person to win the ECW World Hardcore Championship ring.
Wait, the heavyweight championship?
Yeah.
Person to win it. Not Corino.
I got a guess.
Go for it.
Go for it.
It's gonna be wrong though because he's went to WWE. Rhino.
No.
I'm out.
He
of
was
guesses.
tag team champions with Cactus Jack.
Oh, Mikey Whipwreck.
Ah, God.
There you go.
Damn, that's a good one.
Good job, guys.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah. I forgot that he was champ.
That's a deep cut. Jesse, you still got one?
I sure do. I once worked as a bounty hunter. I once received a Slammy from WWF for best head.
Oh yeah.
Well, then I already know what this is.
Yeah.
Y'all, I thought about leaving that one out.
Should have left that one out.
Al Snow.
Left that one out. You're wrong, Les. Debuted at Studio 54 at a show that was actually promoted by Paul Heyman.
I'm Bam Bam Bigelow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best head. Oh, his actual head. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to go with the movies that he was in. 2 movies. He was in
Major Pain
and Joe's Apartment, and I was going to go with those. I thought it was a little bit more of an obscure fact, but
He got shot in Mexico and ended up going to jail because of it.
yeah, he was there for like
bounty
6 months.
hunting.
Wow.
Damn, I didn't know Bam Bam Bigelow was bounty hunting like that.
Also, apparently extremely racist, but yeah.
That's what I heard.
He was a bounty hunter, I think, in Mexico, and that's how. And somebody he was chasing after shot him, and he ended up in a Mexican prison, I think.
Naturally would be racist, I would assume at that point.
There you go.
I mean, he guess he was truly playing the part in Major Pain, huh?
Yes, so I guess so. Well, guys, before we get to the end here, this is not really a game. This is more of like we're gonna do an all time with this, by the way. We're doing factions, right? Because I think factions are kind of becoming a thing again, especially in AEW. Like they're really kind of pushing that vibe, and I guess in WWE as well. You know,
They're starting to get back in WWE.
Yeah,
well, it's great.
They're starting to pop back up.
Potential.
They're starting to pop back up here. So what I want to do is a would you rather, right? So I want to start with a faction that is probably the most well known in the current, landscape of things, and it's going to be the Elite, right? So you have the Elite. So would you rather have the Elite to start a promotion with, or would you rather have the Bloodline?
Elite
for me all day.
Bloodline for me all day. Especially
and
with
is the
Sami
Elite
Zayn in there.
including Hangman Page, even though it's like not official, but it's still the boys?
Well, we said all the time. I mean, we said that it was like because
if Hangman Page is what's going to tip the scale for you, then sure, put him in there. Like,
I mean, I've already chosen regardless, but I mean, I do have action figures of all of those people, and I don't have a Roman Reigns toy. I have a Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's the best part of the bloodline, to be honest.
That's my
it's
favorite
amazing
part.
right now. My God, it's amazing right now.
I was just like, this little beautiful creature is having this moment. Like, really, what makes the bloodline is Paul Heyman. Like, that he would be the only reason I would choose that faction over Elite. But like,
I just get so fucking tired of watching the fucking Usos, man. I'm over it.
Yeah, I'm kind of over it too. Like, how can you be like silly. The most known wrestler and your finisher is a fucking Superman punch? I don't care for Roman Reigns. I never have. I don't acknowledge the tribal chief.
That's crazy talk. Also, like, that's what I don't like. People just shit on the Usos, like, everything's the same, and I'm like, it's the Young Bucks do the same shit in every match too. They have their same shtick. They
just
don't.
do it better,
it's
so it's okay.
It's the same thing. Dude,
now they add a few extra.
You cannot tell me that the Usos versus the Young Bucks would not be an absolute banger that everybody would want to see. It would be an incredible match.
But
I just feel like, to be honest with you, even with the way that AEW is and as oversaturated the Young Bucks have been with that company, you still see them wrestle less. And I think by default, it makes me less tired of it. I mean,
that makes sense. So they're overexposed.
Usos to me I mean, they're all over every fucking segment on both fucking shows. And
I get that.
It also, like, I can't stand hearing either one of them talk. Like, Jimmy and Jay both, when they're irritated, just seem like babies that didn't get their way when they have the mic. They're just constantly looking back like, how did you really just say that to me? What? Don't you know who my cousin is? And it's like, just kind of silly to me.
Hey, all knows I saw the Usos versus the New Day more times than I can even care for.
Yeah.
Like,
all right, well, let's keep it going here. We got the Elite. Now we're going all time here.
Okay.
Would you rather have the Elite or the original D-Generation X?
Is that just Triple H and Shawn Michaels?
And China.
In China? Not the original. Going with the Elite over the original.
I thought you just said we were going all. I thought you said we were going all time here. Doesn't that mean that the faction would be?
He just said the original.
Yeah, but I'm talking about this.
DX.
Yeah, I mean, you have to talk about different variations. Otherwise, I could say the NWO and there's like 80 different ones. You know,
like there's the original and then the other DX. Like,
but if you pick the
there's
original,
3 versions, but yeah,
it evolves into what it ended up being. So you could still pick them. You don't have to include everybody at first.
The New Age Outlaws and X-Pac, Triple H, that China, that DX. Yeah, I'm going that DX over the Elite. But if it's just the Triple H, Shawn Michaels, China, kind of Rick Rude, no.
I don't know. I might still go with original DX.
Nah.
Jessica, where are you at on it?
Oh, original DX.
Yeah, I'm 1,000% original DX now. That's. I mean, come on.
Not for me. I never really saw the original DX. They were gone by the time I started watching wrestling hard. I was introduced to X-Pac. That's when I think of DX, I think of X-Pac still till this day.
Okay, so how about this? The Elite or the original Bullet Club?
Bullet Club.
Bullet Club, because it's Bullet Club. There wouldn't be that one if there wasn't for that one. So
yeah, but that's kind of not really a factor, I don't think. I mean, I still think
that is a factor. It's not. That whole vibe wouldn't exist. Like, they cut their teeth and made their whole fucking how they are with the Bullet Club. It's just
but I mean, to that same token, couldn't we say that about most factions? And then like original NWO, original DX. I mean, I don't think that you compare them that way. I think when you compare them, you have to take into account like who was in it and what they give value to your company as. Like,
yeah.
And in that case, I kind of would have to go Bloodline or Elite rather, only because it's like the Elite have much more crossover than most of the people in the OG Bullet Club. And
really, the OG Bullet Club was just Tama Tonga, Fale, Prince Devitt, and
Carl.
Yeah, and Carl Anderson. That's it. That was the OG Bullet Club. But that's still such an influential, like what that became, like kind of like y'all were saying with the first part about DX, like that became DX, and that's kind of a Bullet Club. Like once you got the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, AJ Styles, like get the fuck out of here. Luke Gallows, like come on now.
Yeah.
Like I said, no Bullet Club without the Elite, no original DX without the expanded DX.
But if we're going just OG Bullet Club versus the Elite, I'm going Elite.
Okay, so this is the last one. This is probably the most legendary. The Elite or the Four Horsemen of like 86?
The Horsemen.
Yeah.
Jessica, what do you think?
Like completely ignoring who they are as real people.
Yes, completely ignoring who they are.
And we're just talking about the 86 version. We're not talking about the later shitty variations of the Horsemen, like the OG Horsemen.
Yeah, okay, the Horsemen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is
100%.
No debate there. Tully, Arn, Rick, Ole.
And JJ, goddammit.
JJ. JJ's just...
I think JJ Dillon.
James J. Dillon is an integral part.
Bro,
and Ole
okay.
Anderson, too.
I mean, if you put a picture by, like, the definition of, like, got the most for the least, it's JJ Dillon. Like, I'm not saying he didn't do anything, but he didn't really do anything. You know what I mean? Like,
I think he enhanced the presentation of that OG Four Horsemen in a very large way.
Yeah, because of the time and because having a manager in pro wrestling at the time legitimized it a little bit. But it's certainly not like people are like, oh, he was the Paul Heyman. Like, no, he was not. No one.
Nah, he was just a guy in a suit.
Yes, the little, like, the least he talked, the better. Like, he would always talk a little bit, and it was never terrible, but it was never great.
Yeah,
I mean,
but you don't need to talk.
You got Tully, you got Rick,
Arn Anderson. Like, they can do all the fucking talking.
Yes, everyone in there could just. Yes, every single person.
And Tully's a good promo too, but I think Arn Anderson I might like him better than Ric Flair as a promo, to be honest.
Yeah. Personal preference. I think Arn Anderson is probably the best promo of 1986. Like anybody in the business at that time.
Yeah,
Arn Anderson was the best.
Jake the Snake too, but
Jake the Snake was very good, but I think Arn was the best. There were lots of really good promos in those late 80s times, man.
Yeah,
especially
like about character back then. You had to have that good promo.
Especially when you got into like 87, 88, 89 to where like Hogan's still very over, but he's starting to get a little more stale. Like he's not like down, but he's like on the way down. Like then you started having guys really, really step up. And this is like right in that sweet spot before you got that early 91, 92 Bret Hart phase. You know what I mean? Like those like
Hogan was always a bad promo, to be honest. Always.
Who?
Like, anytime it wasn't, like, taped or edited, it was just fucking horrible.
Who what?
Hogan.
No,
because he's a shitty person.
Yeah,
he's a shitty...
yeah, of course he is. But he's still Hulk Hogan. Like, you can't... Yeah. Again, like, you got to separate the art from the artist, man. And you can't, like... It's like the more time goes on and the more people hate him, which is very fair and justified. I'm not saying that you should not. He is a piece of shit person. Definitely not defending him as a human being. What I am saying is, like, people have a tendency is, like, of the more the person becomes bad, the more they want to diminish the art. And I mean, dude, Hulk Hogan's Hulk Hogan. Like, people can say what they want. Was he great in the ring? No, but like, none of us are sitting here talking about pro wrestling without Hulk Hogan. Period. Whether you liked him or not,
Terry.
we're just but fuck Terry, 100%, 100% agree, 100% agree. But that is going to bring us to the end of our show. Man, this has been awesome. I am super excited. I'm really excited for people to hear this. I'm really excited to shine the spotlight on the women's division. Jessica, we had a little run-in, and she brought it to my attention that I need to make sure to give them a little more love, and I thought she deserved to be on the show with us. And Jessica, you have been a fantastic guest. Little golf clap around for Jessica here. We very much appreciate having you. Very well done. Hope to have you on again in the future.
Yeah, I would love to come back anytime.
That is awesome. I'm so excited. Next week, we're doing something kind of similar. It's going to be the top 5 non-wrestlers in like wrestling history. So production people, bookers, owners, managers, non-wrestlers, announcers, whatever. Top 5 most influential non-wrestlers in the wrestling business. What?
Fans like the chicken hat or green shirt guy.
Sure.
You know?
The girl that writes all the naughty signs, she's my favorite.
Oh, yeah. Love it. Remember back in the day when you could get away with just bringing a dry erase board in? Like, so smart. Like I remember when I saw it the first time, I was like, that guy's genius. Like can't believe no one else thought about that. But yeah, top 5 non-wrestlers next week. I am super excited. Jessica, thank you again so much for being here. Can you shout out your socials if you want people to find you?
Yeah, I stick mostly to my wrestling shit talk and promos, to my Twitter, which is at Peggy Hill Feet, aka the American Cream Busty Rhodes. So you could find me there. On Instagram, if you want to look at my face, you could follow me at busty.shackleford.
I love it. I love it. Man, that Peggy Hill thing sent me. That's amazing handle. Good for you. Well done. Oh my God. Thank you so much for being here. As always, you can find me at Daniel Daybreak literally everywhere. I'm anywhere you can. I mean, Xbox Live. I'm everywhere. I'm just at Daniel Daybreak. You can always find the show at KayfabeCom on Instagram and Twitter. We're at KayfabeComPod on TikTok. Be sure to look us up on YouTube as well. Just Kayfabe Comparisons there. Hit the subscribe or follow button, whatever they're calling it now. It feels like it changes all. Maybe it's the join button now, which is a little weird. So yeah, whatever. Just leave us a 5-star review. Tell us how much we suck. Tell us what we should do different. And if you want to be on the show, just shoot us an email, kayfabecomparisons@gmail.com. And yeah, Wex, give them the script, baby. Where can they find you?
You can always find your boy Wex at Wex Breaking the Lawson on all of your social medias, but specifically up on the Twitter, it's at Wex Lawson because my shit got a little fucked up because I was talking some shit because somebody else talking some shit on Twitter. You know how it goes these days. You can post something so tame and then someone posts some like fucking crazy shit and they get to stay on there, but I just say like fuck a couple times and I'm done. But neither here nor there. Get up on that TikTok. We got some more engagement last week, and like Daniel said, get on the YouTube. We seem to get a little bit of spike recently in some of these top fives. People digging the format, and I'm digging the format.
Yeah, boy. Jesse Baker, where can folks find you now that you're off in the holler?
Oh man, it's the same place on the cyber world, which is where everything's the most important, right? You say fuck a couple times and you just go away.
Exactly.
At Jesse Baker Nash at Instagram and Twitter, just regular old Jesse Baker over on the Facebooks, and follow that YouTube and join us.
Yes, it's gonna be good stuff. So I'm gonna go get some rest, and we'll see you guys next week. We're out.
Fight with me in the TikTok comments, everybody. Come follow me. We'll have it out on TikTok. Maybe we'll all get blocked.
Love it. We'll see you next week.
Holla.
Peace.